Hello, my name is Max and you're listening to Matchbox. With us today is Chris.
Hello.
Also with us is Hobie.
You're right.
And finally Ali's with us. How are you doing?
I've been ill. I'm not feeling that great. Really not.
What are you feeling ill with?
Viral infection, as Ronnie says.
So what are the symptoms?
Need I say? Mostly feeling sick. I got a headache. I got next door doing work, so I got banging on one side, screaming kids on the other side. My parents and my family have gone away on holiday, taken all the food. All the thing is, I'm ill. I only want to eat 2 pieces of bread a day, right? But they take the bread, right? They leave me with. Listen to this. They leave me with fruit, 2 fibres. Don't want to eat it, right? They left really fibrous cereal. Can't eat it. They left me fucking Parma ham. Right? Smoked salmon, right? I half expected the cupboard when I opened it to be full of caviar. You know, the amount of like high quality stuff they left me with, I just can't eat. I can't even bear to look at, right? So they took all the bread, they took all the milk, right? They took all the stuff that I would actually be using, and left me with stuff that's now going to go off and I have to chuck out.
It sounds like a ready, steady, cook menu.
Yeah.
Also, you got all the noise next door and all that. And now you've got the biggest event in London, because we all live in London. The Olympics has started. How you
not like we can hear it though.
Yeah, well, we can see
the red arrows through over your house.
To be fair, my parents said they could see the lights from the Olympic Stadium.
Yeah,
I was asleep by that time.
The red arrows flew literally over our houses. So we live right next to the stadium, basically.
Well, that's bollocks. We live nowhere near the stadium.
Yeah, but compared to Leeds, we live pretty
Right,
We
down.
live inside the M25. That's as close as anyone needs to.
Look, Olympic events are being held around where we live.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but the Olympic Park isn't down the road.
Yeah, it isn't down the road.
Aren't they using the stadium that we had our sports day at?
I think they are doing something there, yeah.
Yeah, see?
They're not
Olympics.
using that one,
Yeah,
is
they
that?
are, genuinely.
I don't know what for.
So, are we all excited about it? Did everyone watch the opening ceremony? Were you ill? Were you asleep, Valid?
Well, I tried to stay up and watch it because it's a historic moment. I've got to watch it live, and that's what I was led to believe. I watched up until the athletes came out, and then it was just like I knew it was going to be an hour and a half of athletes waving. I thought, fuck this, I'm going to bed. So I went.
Yeah, well,
That was pretty much it.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
I missed the torch at the end, but we'll get to that.
what were your overall views then? Because I know you were sceptical before, weren't you?
Yeah, I was probably the most skeptical.
Sceptical.
I hated it at the beginning. I hated it. All right. I just thought I knew what was going to happen, or I knew most of the things that were going to happen. For example, the red arrows flying over, the expected. I will make fun of it for being British because we can't actually compete with China. And expected going over our history, which is fair enough, and I will come back to that later because I know Chris is already giving me dirty looks. But
I'm not saying anything.
I saw it in your
It's
eyes.
amazing.
I was just looking at you. I was not thinking about it.
So So you expected us to put like a humorous twist on it?
Well, no, I expected them to try and put a humorous twist on it. The only funny things was Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson.
You didn't enjoy the James Bond bit?
No, I didn't. I think it was alright, and I've said this, but no one seems to agree. I think it would have been better if the Queen came out and was like, "Oh, thank you, Perkins, you may leave the room," and the guy's like, "Mom," he leaves the room, the door's shut, and James Bond says so, and she's like, "Shut the fuck up," lights up a cigarette or something, and just really goes renegade, like completely unexpected. I know, but how brilliant would that be?
Would it?
Queen get into character.
Yeah, exactly. The Queen just going mental because everyone sees the Queen as this prim and proper, nice little old lady, and I think it would have made the world. It would have been shock laughter. Shock laughter.
Yeah, but I thought it was shock laughter when
She parachuted out.
Yeah, a parachute out of a helicopter. What happened at the beginning?
Well, they had that,
that was it, yeah.
weird camera view down the Thames, and then they showed the
Yeah, that was a bit.
and they did all that bollocks, which I hated.
Yeah,
So-
that was a bit weird.
But I quite like that, going through the...
I like the idea of it, like on
They did
paper,
shit,
like
they-
following the Thames. When they started that off, I was like, oh, that's actually a decent idea. But when they sort of went off and like people waving from a pub and just a load of weird shit like that, and then the EastEnders, even though it is quite iconic, no.
No, yeah.
It didn't feel.
Yeah, but the thing
right.
is that that's only because we don't like EastEnders.
No, it's not that. It's just I don't see it.
It's tacky. That's
Yeah,
what it
it's
is.
tacky. Yeah, it's not like I can understand putting things like Shakespeare in it, stuff like that, classy stuff. Not EastEnders. Yeah,
But that's what London is. That's what our society is now. So when you want a true representation.
Well,
of it,
this
rather than
goes on to my next point about, like, it started with the countryside, fine, okay. Granted, it looked really silly with people throwing apples and catching them in their aprons and stuff. Then it went to the Industrial Revolution, which I thought was probably the best part, because I wasn't expecting it at all. Then, Chris, when you compare it to what came after, with the kid waiting, going, "Where you at, babes?" Kiss, and then like loads of text messages, and they're, out with
honestly,
girls.
Did anyone else get a sort of Lord of the Rings vibe?
Yes, I thought the Shire immediately back
Not just the Shire. The Shire, fair enough. I was like, oh, it's the Shire. I'm surprised they didn't have houses in it. But then, did no one else think it? All the time during the Industrial Revolution bit, all I could think was
the Yorks.
Eisenberg,
Yeah.
burning everything, and then they're like doom doom and everything. It was just I couldn't watch it without. I couldn't take it seriously.
J.R. Tolkien did that
But
based
did they
on our
deliberately
history.
do that, or did it just happen to look like that?
Yeah, but I think Lord of the Rings copied British history.
Yeah, obviously. But I'm saying that did they just stumble across that and it looked
Probably,
like
yeah.
that?
Because the Hobbits are supposed to be
I know
English.
this. Yeah, I remember my parents saying that the hill was meant to be Glastonbury, and at the top of the hill that there was meant to be some sort of monument or something where the tree was. I don't know.
Why did you like the Industrial Revolution bit?
Well, that's not to say I like it. I just thought it was the best bit out of it. I mean, don't get me wrong. There were other good bits as well, like the fact that we invented the internet and that was the ending.
Like
Mr. Bean, that was good.
Yeah,
I knew it was going to be bad, and I'm still of that mindset. And also another point: this isn't due to the fact of the ceremony itself, but I've gone on Facebook because I'm worldly and I know a lot of people,
Yeah.
And I was looking. I wasn't talking. I was looking at other people's statuses, and I know a couple of Americans and Canadians from my uni days. None of them got it in terms of like. They knew what the NHS was, but they didn't know like when all those scary things were coming out, and they didn't know what the child catcher was, and so it's not very worldly.
Yeah.
If only British people get it, so I didn't like that aspect.
I read something online that said that obviously Danny Boyle was going for some sort of inside jokes for Britain itself, but he tried to cater for the world because the world sees British people as, you have like Super Nanny USA and stuff like that. They think of Mary Poppins, they think of stuff like that.
I mean, he didn't include like really obscure stuff. Mr. Bean is worldwide.
Yeah.
James Bond obviously worldwide. EastEnders, I don't know how popular that is. I assume it's not popular. Yeah,
musicians.
Music, stuff
I
like
like
that.
the fact they got in like the music across the decade.
Can I just say they missed out Black Sabbath? That's all I'm going to say. That's one of my top 3 things. They pissed me off. They invented the alternative movement. That's all I'm going to say. That they completely left out. Right.
Maybe
they couldn't have. They didn't have time. They had to get the guy texting about can I meet you outside your house.
Bullshit.
Let's go into our house and dance in the attic. Because British people do that.
Yes, they do.
Do they? The British people go up to the attic and dance. And then make out after you just meet. Well, maybe they do make out with.
Yeah, do British people text other people? Yes.
Everyone takes other people.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Representing it of a new modern age.
Yeah,
it's the whole point of that.
Yeah.
Well, let's get onto it stage by stage instead of jumping all over the place. So, what did you specifically like about the Industrial Revolution bit? Is it just the scale, the way it looked?
I like
Kenneth Branagh.
How it appeared.
He doesn't know who that is.
Yeah, you do.
He's the main guy.
Do you know who he was playing?
Yeah, do you know who he was playing?
Yeah.
all the other people that were dressed in top hats and stuff, they're dancing. That was just creepy.
Yeah,
I couldn't watch that. It was just terrible. They were doing.
I
don't know what they were
read
doing.
online that there was Americans slating it. He said,
What's so?
Yeah.
Rightly
No.
no.
Yeah, but I mean, he was saying The Liberator was the Great Emancipator. What's his face?
Oh, Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Yeah,
What's Abraham Lincoln doing?
Oh.
Reading Shakespeare. You just think, oh, fucking hell.
I'm not slating it because of that. I'm just
Was it
saying
because of the
it
top
does look
hat?
Weird.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they see a man in a top hat, and it can
And
only possibly be Abraham Lincoln.
And the mutton chops.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Okay. So what was the next thing?
I think it was.
They did a bit of James Bond.
Yeah.
Right,
The next bit was
That wasn't that good.
James Bond, wasn't it? You didn't like it?
Not really, no.
Why not? You're the James
It
Bond
wasn't-
fan here.
Yeah, but there was nothing James Bond about it. They just had
Daniel
Daniel
Craig.
Craig in it and played the Bond theme a bit.
He met the Queen.
Oh, and the
Yeah.
close-ups on the dogs. That annoyed me a lot as
Yeah.
well. And
It wasn't funny.
I've completely forgot about this because it enraged me so much. But they were flying in the helicopter, and then like he looks down at people are waving, and then the statue of Churchill sort of like gives
Oh,
him
yeah.
a cheeky wink.
What the fuck was that? That just made me cringe. It was like,
What was
that's
wrong with
not
that?
Right. It wasn't
It
funny.
wasn't good at all. It was just. It was wrong. That's what it was.
Well, why was it wrong?
I don't know, what was it supposed to represent? Was it a nod to like us winning World War II, or was it just the fact that Churchill, he's famous, get him in there? What was it supposed to be? It was just a statue coming to life. That doesn't happen.
I think there was a lot of that, just winks and nods to certain people.
Yeah,
Might be a weeping angel.
No one's going to get that. And if they do, then give us a shout out. You losers. I thought that was another good touch when they had a brief moment to remember the soldiers falling.
That was nice. Yeah.
So why did everyone think of the NHS-y bit?
The NHS bit
I
was...
wasn't expecting it, so I'm glad they did.
I'm glad they
sort of
did
like
because
put it in,
Great Ormond Street as well is a good cause.
It's sort of something you forget about Britain, the NHS, and nothing else like it. So I am kind of glad they got that in there.
And they had the children literature, didn't they? With
Yeah.
the
I did like trying to work out what the things were. Like, oh, there's Voldemort.
But that's the thing, people.
I didn't know that Voldemort to me though.
Oh, of course it didn't, but
Yeah,
I only got it because it had a stick in his ass.
Yeah, but to be fair, international people will know who Voldemort is.
Yeah, they'll know Voldemort.
They
they'll know
recognise
Mary
J.K.
Poppins.
Rowling
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, she read.
That was another good sort of little bit. She was in it. Most people's best bit from reading on internet forums was the bit where Rowan Atkinson started playing with the classical music.
London
And-
Symphony
yeah,
Orchestra.
and
I thought that was.
to be honest, I did actually laugh when he was tapping it, and then the guy next to him started playing, and he looked at him with that
Yeah.
typical Mr. Bean look because he's envious. But I did laugh at that bit.
I did get it, like I did enjoy seeing him
Yeah,
because I did not know he was going to be in it. So when he appeared, I was like, oh, it's Rowan Atkinson.
to be fair to him, he's doing that in front of 1 billion people, and he acted pretty well.
Yeah.
Top marks.
But he's a
There's a lot
pro.
of pressure on him. Yeah,
He's a
he is a pro. He's a good pro. So did you like it? The Mr. Bean bit?
It was a nice bit in like it was something I recognised. It reminded me of all of Mr. Bean, which I love. I'm just glad that they got him in it because he is brilliant.
I like the idea of maybe someone who lives in the USA or something who's never seen Mr. Bean, and they're getting scared because they think this is a real person and he's cocking it up, and they're thinking, get the camera off him. What's this guy? And then it started on to
Well, you had
music
that.
montage, wasn't it?
You had that
Yeah,
interpretive
yeah,
dance
you had that.
before that, didn't you? With the little kid hugging and the guy was doing
Oh,
all that
yeah, that-
capoeira-esque movement. It was then silent. But I
I
didn't
didn't
really
get
like
it,
that.
but-
I didn't
No,
get
I
it.
didn't. Move on. Then it was a big music bit.
Yeah, the big music bit came after with a load of montages between what was it, the 60s all the way up to modern day, wasn't it?
Pretty much.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
I thought that was
40 years.
probably the best bit.
Yeah.
There was a bit.
Yeah, I did like because it was good, like going, like getting the songs,
Yeah.
sort of thing. I like that.
There was a bit where
I know that one. I know
Queen
that.
played Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, they got Bohemian
and
Rhapsody in there.
right as it finished, you heard it.
Yeah,
The
Yeah,
TARDIS,
yeah,
the
TARDIS.
TARDIS
Yeah.
I
materialised.
sort of had to. I was surprised at that.
You had to hold an erection.
No,
Yeah.
I let it go.
Yeah. What music was there?
It was Beatles.
No, you had one Beatles song.
What was that? What John Lennon?
And they had
Paul
one-
McCartney play at the end.
Yeah, but that wasn't in this montage bit. They had one Beatles song. They
That
had
was-
Sex Pistols. They had
Tainted Love.
They had the Who, didn't they?
Yeah.
They had.
surely.
I think they had Zeppelin as well.
Yes, they had. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did.
Well, I thought it was also a thing towards British film history. I can see what they mean by it was an in-joke because there was stuff like Kes like briefly shown on the screen and on the big house thing. And was it good? What did you think?
I think we're all forgetting, sorry to interrupt, but I think we're all forgetting the ultimate finale, which was Dizzy Rascal emerging triumphantly from underground.
That was probably the worst bit of the entire evening. Why he's worthy.
Well, he was from East London, you know?
Who cares?
I don't give a shit.
Millions of people.
I don't think he was worthy, but he's from East London and he represents
Not good enough.
modern day.
Yeah, he represents modern
Not good
culture.
enough.
The same way that the kid texting the girl and
Don't care.
them hooking up.
Yeah, but that's because
That's
you
British
don't
modern
care.
culture for you.
But that's the thing, you know.
That's what I'm
it is-
saying. I think he should not have been in there at all.
But I mean, and this is why I never liked the idea of going through history in the first place, because you start off with all these amazing things, and then you end up with Dizzy Rascal and people trying to get off in a club.
Yeah, but then you also
They
end up
probably
with...
should have stopped
At the internet.
at
They
the
should have
internet,
stopped at the internet.
at the 90s, and then
The guy, what was it? Something Lee, who made the internet.
Tim Berners-Lee. You should
Yeah.
know his name.
I did know it, but I've completely forgotten it. All I remember is the Lee. Yeah, you end up with that.
Which was, I mean,
Yeah, so that's
him
still good
sitting
as
there
well.
at a computer wasn't great, but
Yeah,
it's
that was about 20
we
years
invented
ago.
the internet. We
What
brought
have
you
we
into
done
the modern
since?
world.
Well, you can say, you know, we're sending a lot of scientists to work on the Higgs stuff.
You could
In a
say
different
that,
country.
Yeah,
but
well, there you go.
it's not good enough. And putting Dizzy Rascal in there.
But that's
No.
the thing, a lot of people like
That's the
to see
definition of
Dizzy
an
Rascal.
anticlimax. I don't care if a lot of people like him.
Well, then,
He didn't, and that's
Yeah.
what really mattered.
I can't. These people that do like him, surely, even they cannot argue that he was worthy of being in there as like a great symbol of Britain. No.
yeah, but he's a symbol of
But
Britain
then
right
saying
now.
that, I didn't like the fact
It's
that Paul
not.
McCartney was in it either at the end.
For what reason?
He's aged
Yeah.
horrifically and stuff, and like I know that's
I
not
don't
a
think it's
reason
that
to
bad.
not
He's
have him,
not
but
aged horrifically.
no. But
He's
He's
aged
aged
pretty well.
horrifically.
He looks pretty decent for his
Right.
age. The only problem I have, and it takes a lot for me to say it, is he is past his prime
Yeah.
singing wise. But you're saying he's not worthy.
well, no,
of
I
being in
meant
there.
when I meant age horrifically, I meant his time has gone, is what I meant
True.
to say.
And by that, therefore, he shouldn't be in it.
He shouldn't be in it at the end, and I don't think even then, you know, I guess maybe it's the same as Dizzy Rascal for me. I don't like him.
But you must recognise the dip, please.
Yeah, I recognise the difference. I'm not saying on any way that they're on the same level of greatness or anything. But
They're not even in. No.
I
they're
think
nowhere
they
near.
shouldn't have had either of them.
So, wait, let me get this
That's
straight.
completely bollocks. Because
Why?
he symbolises not just him, he symbolises the Beatles and 60s music.
Granted, but if
We
you're going
ruled
in a
music in the
chronological
60s.
order,
You say
Don't
they shouldn't
end
put him
with
in
him.
there earlier.
I think they should have had a nod to his music like they did with everyone else, but not have him in person.
Yeah, but when people think of British music, they think of the Beatles instantly.
And if you can get one of them in there. Okay,
Just carry on with the song.
if you could put a singer at the end,
Oh.
who would you have put in there?
Because
Alive?
Yeah, obviously.
Because you're saying,
Yeah,
You-
you're saying he
they're-
didn't deserve to be
yeah,
in there,
'cause he's
it
past
was a
his
joke, all of that.
well, who's current that's up there and is British? That's why Dizzy Rascal was picked. Because he's current, he's from East London,
Elton John.
and he's big.
Elton John. He could have done it quite easily.
Even then, I'm still a bit. I don't know. I'd want someone current, but I wouldn't want Dizzy Rascal.
Yeah,
to
what do you mean by
finish it.
current?
I mean, like
Tom Jones.
Yeah,
Last
exactly.
10
Would Tom
years.
Jones count as current?
up past 2000.
Yeah, but
Why?
Tom, what do you mean? He had an album out only the last couple of years.
Really?
Paul
Yeah.
McCartney released an album. Not
They're always
few
releasing
months back.
albums.
Current
Elton
and
John's
in
in
their
the top
prime
10.
currently, and I don't think.
Can't
Tom
you say Elton
Jones
John's
is
songs are in the top 10 right now because someone's remixed it? Yeah,
Oh
genuinely.
yeah, because someone's remixed it.
Still his songs, it's his material.
Yeah,
It's in
I
the
think
top
they're
10.
bringing out a new compilation of the Beatles. Let's see how that performs.
All right,
Who
Chris.
would you have? Who would you
Fucking
have?
hell.
Answer the question. Who
I
would
don't
you
know,
have?
but I would have had someone in terms of Dizzy Rascal's level of being current and iconic and blah 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 blah. But
So like Jessie J.
no, but someone good. I'd have someone good.
Adele.
No,
Adele could have done it.
She could
Adele
have done
could
it.
have done it as well, yeah.
But-
She'd
Adele,
been much better than Dizzy
yeah,
Rascal. but then
Adele
that's
would have
not-
been a good pick, but she's pregnant, so maybe she couldn't have done it.
It's not the reason I would have said no. But
Alright, give us your views who you think would have been good to replace Dizzy Rascal, or as Hobie wants to replace Paul McCartney. Send it into matchbox@live.com.
Can I just quickly say that I do think Paul McCartney had to be there somewhere. He had to arrive, he had to wave, he had to nod. Didn't have to perform, but he had to be there to nod. I do agree with that.
I mean, look at it. Arctic Monkeys, they performed a Beatles song.
There's something I wanted to mention, which again, this is all to do with the ceremony, but in particular the athletes. This is why some of it's love, some of it's hate. But I found out two very interesting things. Most British professional Olympians, from what I saw, were complete cunts.
Yeah, I agree. Well,
and I'll say that word as much as I want because they were. They had shades on at like 1 a.m. Everyone was like waving to the camera and going, "Way, we're Olympians," but they made me ashamed to be British. If that's the best we've got, not all of them. There are some older, respectable people just walking and waving, but those particular ones, Tom Davies and all of them.
He didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I didn't like is he got about 80% of the airtime. The camera was pretty much always on him.
Let me stop you there. You're getting annoyed at 3 people because I saw it. There was 3 athletes that were going woo, bruh, 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 like that.
And some of the girls
screaming into the camera.
And the camera went back, forward, and then they caught up with them again. And then they did the same thing. So you're getting annoyed at them.
Fine.
Which is perfectly legitimate.
But some of the girls as well were annoying me
in
terms of the Olympian team. But then, and it shames me because when you saw the American team, granted none of them know how to wear a beret, but they looked smart, they looked respectable. Every other country, like in their nice dresses and all of that, they all looked happy to be there. Sure, they had their phones up, but they didn't embarrass their countries as far as I know. I was embarrassed. What?
We did.
I think we did, yeah.
Okay.
What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to film you. We're going to have to make a YouTube video of you how to wear a beret from how to wear a beret from home.
And then the good thing I liked about the walking out ceremony, and I never knew this, and this isn't because of the London Olympics per se, but in special cases, or if you want it, you can compete under the Olympic flag instead of a country's flag. So the woman carrying the Olympic flag was a political refugee who had no state, but she's a world athlete, so she got to compete, and therefore she got to do it. Not to ruin the moment, but the 3 people behind her were all like a bit cuntish, and they were like practicing running. But I really liked that. And when we talk about the Olympics supposed to be about world peace, and the people in the UN were carrying the big Olympic flag and everything, I really did. I think that's the best touch the Olympics has, that you can compete above country level. You can just compete for the Olympics. You can compete for world peace. You can compete for some sort of nice
world.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that more athletes, if they're aware, don't voluntarily go, I'll fly under the Olympic flag because I'll support my country, whatever, because I'm from that country, but I want to support more, I want to support a message, and I really liked that.
I agree with that. I don't see why you have to be patriotic for the fact that my being born in this country is a genetic accident. It's logistically, there was no purpose to it. It's just, why should I be proud of it? I was born here. Why should I be proud of it from anywhere? And were you talking about ambassadors for peace, did you say?
Yeah, well, at the end, before Muhammad Ali held the flag in the 6th, you had like the UN, the head of the UN and head of liberty, and I really liked that.
Champion of the world, of the earth, sorry.
I see. Because I remember someone saying that Stephen Lawrence's mum was there as well.
She was.
Yeah,
which was nice as well.
I'll tell you something that would give you a bit more pride. Did anyone see the German ambassador when the German team walked out? The German ambassador Boris Johnson was behind him. We'll put it on YouTube or something. Boris Johnson and David Cameron and his wife are behind him, or Camilla and Charles or someone. And the German ambassador's waving. But he's doing a Nazi salute.
I did see that.
I don't believe.
No, it wasn't doing a Nazi salute, but it did look like he was doing that. And I was like, going, is he doing that deliberately?
Trust me.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, he's doing surely.
I don't think he's doing it like.
Yeah, I don't think he's a Nazi. I'm not saying that, but he could have picked a better way.
We'll put a link on YouTube because that's ridiculous.
I remember seeing that. I was like, he's doing a Nazi salute. It looks like a Nazi salute, but I don't think.
So
he's doing
obviously it isn't. It's just
he
Jesus
just happens
Christ,
to be waving like that, and
waving
maybe his
the
arms
camera
are
angle.
tired, and it's come down a bit,
Yeah.
but it looks a little bit.
Boris Johnson was pointing at him and laughing, basically saying, "What's he doing?"
That's another thing when we're talking about the royalty and stuff. Did you see the Queen's reaction when Team GB came
Yeah,
out?
looking down.
Yeah.
She would have nails. I think that's why should I give a shit when she clearly
I'm
doesn't?
pretty sure it was at that point where the commentator said
Yeah.
something like,
I'm sure she's proud on
feeling
the
a lot of
inside.
pride or something like that. It's like, yeah, looks it. Yeah.
That's another thing we're going to have to talk about. The commentary.
Commentary was horrible.
They gave us that it was Hugh something who does all the royal commentary. The woman from Snooker. And,
She was knowledgeable.
and some guy they just dragged off the street. Trevor something. And
Was
it-
he the one giving all the bollocks?
Yeah, he was going. Oh, my sister works in that.
Oh, yeah.
God, it's like,
Who the-
I don't
what
care.
the fuck? 1 billion people are watching this. Who gives a shit about if your sister?
I bought some
works in
oranges
that
from that stall
Yeah.
over there. What? Who gives a shit? Who-
Lovely garments.
Who-
Lovely garments.
I think that's my favourite costume.
Yeah, that was fucking awful.
I read online about Americans watching it on. I can't remember the channel, and they were saying that it kept cutting to breaks at certain points. They would miss big sections. So there was one section where they when they were talking about 7-7, they had the minute silence or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that bit, so I don't know. And they said they cut to a break in the middle of that. Just imagine the Americans watching TV. Imagine if like
That happened in 9/11.
Yeah.
exactly, that's my
That
point.
would be-
Yeah, so they would go ape shit. There would be public outcry, but they did it. Don't care.
Well, that's awful. I mean, at least we didn't have adverts.
Well, there's no other channel like the BBC, is there?
Yeah.
Around the world.
BBC Two.
3, 4, yeah.
What did you think of David Beckham, by the way, on the speedboat?
I think fair enough because he really fought for the Olympics.
Yeah, I can
so
understand perfectly.
He
Understand
didn't have a
why
pay. He didn't have any significant role.
Yeah, he didn't really
so
do much.
He was
He
ambassador.
was on the, no, I mean like
Yeah,
in
but he
terms
just-
of the
he just
ceremony, he
went
wasn't
up the
like the
Thames.
torch
Yeah, he
or
didn't
anything
do
like that.
anything.
He was
Yeah,
fine there.
yeah.
I have no qualm.
Yeah, I've got no problem with him. If anything, he probably didn't do enough. I'm surprised they didn't give him more to do. I think. But I'm glad that he passed it to Sir Steve Redgrave.
No, he's a sir now, is he?
That annoyed me. How many, when like the commentators and stuff, I'm pretty sure there were a few times when they didn't say Sir to people.
Yeah.
I don't know if they.
Chris Hoy. They say Sir Chris
they
Hoy.
definitely missed it out on quite a few people, and that sort of annoys me.
I thought, to be honest, the whole Olympics thing was it went down really well because it was the People's Olympics. You know, it put people 500 people that built the stadium, workers there.
Honor guard.
It had the next generation lighting the torch.
Yeah, that was interesting. I like that.
I thought that was a good touch. And then when all the torches went together, I thought that was pretty
That
good.
was really good.
I think that was one of the best bits.
I thought the best, one of the most, I say moving, but awful moments was when Ali was there, and it was a good touch to have him there because he is the greatest athlete. I don't think anyone is better than him, but it's not really nice to look at him like what a man he's becoming now. He's sort of, but that's what's great about Ali. Even though he's like that, he's still going for a billion people and do it. So overall, did you think like we had to follow Beijing, which was like immense in scale and grandeur? Do you think it succeeded? Because I know you three were sort of skeptical before. Was it as good or was it as bad as you thought?
It was better than I thought it was going to be, but that's not saying much.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I don't know how to say this properly, but I think the London 2012 opening ceremony made me believe more in the Olympic Games, but less in Britain.
Why?
For everything I've said, I think because it looks like if you looked at that history, and if that was the only history timeline that you had, it shows we're deteriorating as a nation, starting with brilliant things and ending up with Dizzy Rascal. And I'm sorry, it's not that I hate Dizzy Rascal, but what he represents.
Yeah, but I thought. Oh yeah, go on.
And again, and not so much because of the London Games, but things that I didn't notice before in any other games, like the fact that you could run for the Olympic flag and everything like that. It's really made me. I mean, I'm not big on sports. I don't really watch any. I'll occasionally watch an Arsenal match, Well, regardless, you text me, I watch it. But anyway, I'm not that big of a sports watcher, but I'd be encouraged to watch the Olympic Games, and I have watched a bit of it.
See, I think you three are being grumpy bastards because the ceremony, in my opinion, was pretty good, and it showed everything that was good about Britain. You know, we took no games ceremony before has had a bit of humour and humility to it. It's all been like, oh, look at us and that, but we've took a different route. You know, we've tried to be modern. We've tried to incorporate youth. We've tried to be funny. You know, we've said that we're good at. It was funny. We've tried to be. We've said what we're good at and we've said what we're bad at. You know, and I think that was better than
bad at
Beijing
sport.
things.
Good at making fun of the fact that we're bad at sport.
So, what were your views, audience? Would like to hear from you. Email matchbox@live.com or just comment on our YouTube video. Especially if you don't live in the UK, because we want to know whether or not it was too in-jokey. Like Mr. Bean, did you get all that stuff and stuff like that? So email us at matchbox@live.com. So the other big event since we've been on last time was the Batman premiere. It's come out now to rave reviews. I suppose mixed. We've seen it, but Alid hasn't seen it, so we're going to potentially do a sort of like a Batman podcast next week. But we also went to the Batman premiere, and I know that sounds like, oh, you saw the stars, but basically what happened is we queued for 5 hours to see them for a brief few seconds. Well,
the whole start bit was about an hour, but yeah, they appeared.
The plan was to, chill in London for a bit and then get to Leicester Square and then just sort of hang. But when we got into London, we fannied about a bit and then we got to Leicester Square and it was packed. It was unbelievable.
1 o'clock in the afternoon, it was busy.
What time did the film start?
The premiere started about
5:15.
Yeah, about that.
And it was packed at 1.
It was packed at 1.
And it got worse, obviously.
Yeah, and so we decided, we better hang about.
Yeah.
And every single barrier was packed and we thought, there's no way of us getting in.
Yeah, we sort of agreed there's no chance we're going to get anything.
I toyed with the idea of going home because there's no point, But luckily the gods were on our sides. I know there aren't any gods.
And we were like, no, we might as well hang around.
Yeah, we might as well hang around. A guard opened the barrier and said, come on in.
Right where we were.
Yeah, right where we were. So we hurried in and we got prime. We stood
right at the front.
But did you hear, as we were walking down, there was a guy that was like, why do they get, we've been here. So we were just like, alright, fine, we just walked straight. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
We got
that is pretty good.
We were at the front of the queue and then from that we spent 5 hours waiting to see. I mean, to be honest, I only went to see Tom Hardy. I brought my Bronson DVD with me just for him to sign it.
Did it?
We'll get onto that. Why did you went because you love Christian Bale, don't you?
I was hoping, because you said that there's a chance Liam Neeson might have a cameo. So I took my computer game that he did the voiceover for, Fallout 3.
Yeah.
I took the cover for that. So I want it signed because I love that game.
Fallout 3 is one of the best games on Xbox, but that's a debate for another time.
And PS3, and PC.
Yeah, and PS3, yeah. But yeah, so we got into the queue, 4 of us, another mate of ours. So it was just us 3 and a friend, and we stood there for literally.
Well, from 1 o'clock.
From
1 o'clock until when is it? 7:30. Easy. Because I remember we were on the tube. I left you on the tube at about 8:30. I looked at my watch.
And it rained quite a few times as well.
Yeah, it was
raining. On-off sort of thing. We only had one umbrella, thankfully, for all of us. I didn't take anything. The hood or anything,
but it was. We enjoyed it. I mean,
I'm glad I went, but I don't know if I'll do it ever again.
Right. The main issue I have with it is that people were turning up that do not deserve to be turning up to anything. People like JLS were turning up. Keith Lemon was there.
Neil from the
In-Betweeners. Charlotte from In-Betweeners was there. He was looking quite nice.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
He
was the only one that I didn't know was going to be there, and I'm glad was there.
You got his signature, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was a good experience.
Oh.
But the main attraction was a certain Mark Wright. He turned up, all suited and booted, with his minder. and he walked past. I mean, anyone who doesn't know Mark Wright, just Google it and then watch Hollywood Nights. Mark Wright Hollywood Nights.
From Only Way is
ITV. Yeah.
Essex.
It's possibly the worst show ever made, and I'm not. That is fact. I've seen a lot of shit. I've seen Ross and Howard's Good News. I've seen Coming of Age. I've seen that shit. Anything on the BBC is shit. BBC Three, I should say. But Mark Wright Hollywood Night is one of the worst things you will ever see. And he walked past, and this guy, Chris, he shouted out loud enough for him to hear, "You see you ... T." I know that's 5 letters, but he must have heard it.
He was, 20 feet away, if that. He heard that, definitely. The volume, because I was standing right next to him, Chris, and the volume that came out, I was just dumped my head to the side and thought, ow, it actually hurt my ear.
Like, half a metre away.
Yeah, but I was too busy shouting
so
as
was
well.
everyone else.
Not everyone else was saying that particular word.
No.
Nice.
But I'm sure I got drowned out.
But yeah, that was the highlight.
I'd never have expected that kind of behaviour from you, Chris.
Yeah, well.
I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
It's just I would never actually think
So what?
you're
What
brave
got-
enough
what
to
got
do that.
I
What
don't
got
know.
into you?
He's a cunt.
So yeah, the stars started turning up. The first one to turn up was Mr. Thomas Hardy. It took him.
You fancy him. That's what you.
I don't fancy him. Yeah,
Yes,
he's
you
a
do.
good actor. He's
You fancy
the best actor for me. You know,
Because you fancy him.
I don't fancy him.
You love him.
It took him maybe 2 hours. Well, not 2 hours, but an hour to come to us. And when he did, I held up my Bronson DVD, which still had the DVD in it. I forgot to take it out. He signed it, and I had my hand out for him to shake it, and he shook it. And after he left, I sort of fell to the floor crying. I was like, oh.
Just met the love of your life.
Yeah.
What are you going to do next?
But near enough straight after him, Christian Bale turned up as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
He rocked past us, and everyone was going mad for him. And you got your thing signed, didn't you?
Getting a sign
temporarily.
It's kind of an exaggeration. Let me just put this into context. I went out that morning. I went out to the shop to specifically buy a brand new Sharpie pen because I thought I want nothing leaving to chance. I want to make sure I get this signature right. So I take my DVD. I get this new Sharpie pen. I'm holding it out, right? But I made sure I've got it covered, right? So it's underneath my Max, my coat. I'm waiting for him to come round. But he was coming quite quickly, so I thought, okay, I'll get it out now. But then he slowed down at some people that were there because they looked like they had lots to sign, so he was signing loads of different things. And it took him a while to come round. By the time he came round, because it started raining, the paper was wet and the Sharpie pen wouldn't stick. The pen ink wouldn't stick to the paper.
Well, he didn't use your pen, did he?
Well, he came up to me and said, "What's your name?" I said my name, and he said, "Okay." So he wrote my name on the DVD, and then he went to write his name. But his name, he obviously practiced his handwriting, so he did it quite quickly. And because he did it quickly, didn't push as hard. So it's very, very faint. And it's a dark case cover anyway. And then he carried on going, and I was sort of looking at it and holding up to the light and thinking, can I see that? Is it there? I could see a H, and I could see a T. I could see kind of, Bale just looks like a night tick. I'm thinking,
You can see a Z. And that's not even...
And I sort of, then I said, I can't even see it. And that's when he'd moved on by then. He was like, yeah, it's because the weather in it, it's because of the rain. And I thought a bit hard done by him. I thought, I've been waiting here 6 hours and you can't even see the bloody signature.
Big news in entertainment
The
this
only
week,
news
the only
worth
news
knowing.
is that Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson their relationship's on the rocks because Kristen Stewart cheated on him with the director of Snow White. How old is he? Like 40-year-old man who's married with 3 kids.
Yeah. And she's, 22?
And we've all seen a picture of him. He's a
born
dog.
in 1990.
Damn, so she's the same age
I
as
think
us.
she's born about April 1990, so she's just had her 22nd birthday.
Same age.
Yeah.
Point is, she shouldn't be banging that old man.
Shouldn't be alive.
She shouldn't be alive. Why?
Hate her. Hate her.
I don't like her, but I do her.
Why'd you hate
I
her?
wouldn't even do
Yeah,
her.
why do you like her? I mean,
Because, well, first of all, she can't act.
well,
If you wanna really do it, so she can't act. I don't even think she's that good looking, and I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I wouldn't do her, but that's because I don't like her.
She's fake.
But
You're probably one of the only ones.
no, I just don't like her.
I just
She's
don't
actually
like
in
her.
a good
She's
film.
just miserable all the time.
Yeah.
She really is. Like, crack a smile, for God's sake.
Yeah. Whenever I've seen her in interviews, she's like,
She don't, yeah, it's like, she barely talks. She just
No vibrancy.
Yeah.
No, it's not at all.
Well, didn't you tell me that they picked her because she was that plain that girls could imagine themselves there instead?
I said that.
I wouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I don't know what you saying that the producers and directors and stuff.
Yeah, that is probably the
Is
case.
that what they said?
She's so plain.
Yeah.
So
it's
plain that
She
it's
was.
easier for girls to imagine
She is.
themselves in her shoes because she looks like everyone or something.
Yeah, because if you get like a
If you get a well-known one
a
in
curvaceous Latino woman,
Well, I don't think the character-
Twilight demo.
then but you get my point where, you know, because she's normal in every single way, in the way she looks. She's good looking,
Bland.
but she's
Bland. That's the best
bland.
word. Bland.
Girl
Tepid.
next door.
People can sort of put themselves on her more easy than someone with more interesting features. You know, I hope they do split up because, you know, maybe we could meet her and I could be like, hey.
Oh, not that Robert Pattinson could do better.
No, well, he probably could, but
Of course he does. You're always bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So I always thought that their relationship was just put on to like increase ratings and stuff like that. And
Well, it
just,
will
always
have to be at
shit and
the premiere. Apparently, they've been told by the producers of Twilight, the next one, that they've got to be seen together at the premiere. Going to be a bit tense.
they were going to get married as well. They were
He was
going
going to propose
Yeah.
apparently as well. Yeah.
shopping for engagement rings.
I know.
shit.
What's her name? And they're living together, and he's shot himself. Apparently, wants to have a man-to-man chat with. Is it Rupert Sanders, the director? Who
So man-to-man chat. So what, he's
Yeah.
going to try and do him in and then realise
I'd
he's not
smash his
strong.
face
and-
in. Yeah.
A man-to-man chat about what?
Treat her right. She's
Did my
worth it.
girlfriend.
Yeah, but
What's
what's going to get resolved?
So what?
What's going to get resolved?
They're gonna have a duel.
Yeah.
He's a fucking vampire,
He's
so
actually
I'd
a
watch it.
vampire.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it is a bit out of order for us to, because I mean, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't
anything.
know.
We
enough
don't know
about
the
it.
truth.
Yeah,
we don't know.
obviously
We're completely outside.
Yeah, but the truth is, she cheated on him.
Yeah, that's,
Doesn't matter
that's-
Yeah, but what defines
She's
cheating?
in the wrong.
Did she kiss him? Did she fuck him? Did she,
fucked him.
hold his hand? She
Yeah,
fucked
yeah,
him,
yeah.
like
She
proper
came-
full on.
Yeah.
She came out and
Well,
apologized.
how
did it.
full on does it
She
have to be?
did
They
it.
fucked.
She
Well, no, it's like
apologised
Jeremy
for
Kyle,
it.
you know, sexual contact,
Yeah.
Yeah.
kissing,
But then they're
and
also,
sexual intercourse.
you know, there are theories.
Did
that
they get the
more
lie
than just
detector
one, like,
involved?
there was going on sort of thing, like they've been
Bring on
spoken
Graham.
on numerous times, like in a restaurant sort of thing, and then like someone, you know, it's things like that. So it's not just like, oh, they fucked and then they regretted it. I mean, I don't know. I'm just going by what I've gleaned from news article titles. I haven't exactly been reading about it.
So that was the end of our third podcast. Email us at matchbox@live.com if you want to comment on anything. It'd be good to get your views on the Olympic ceremony. Was it too in-jokey? Was it as good as Beijing? Was it good or bad? Just email us or comment on the YouTube video. We've got our first subscriber, 16-ton heart, I think. Shout out to him. We hope he said that we have watched the Half-Life videos and he thought they were good. So yeah, we were on Twitter, hashtag the Matchbox. So yeah, just comment, leave us a comment, and we'll see you next week. See you later.